Good afternoon. We are continuing with Unit 9 with our Slope Intercept Form. Today we are working on CO56. It is a CO even though it says power objective here. He forgot to change that to be just the regular course objective. So this is a CO. It is not a PO, but it's still important to know. So it is, I can write the equation of a line in slope-intercept form, given an equation in standard form. So we're still working with that slope-intercept form, and we're doing a new way to put it into slope-intercept form. So just like there are many ways to describe a warm day, it could be hot, it could be sunny, it could be summery, it could be caliente, I'm guessing that's Spanish. There are many ways to describe the graph of a line. One way is slope-intercept form. We've been working with that. Another is called standard form. So we're going to see what the difference is between the slope-intercept form and the standard form. So our slope-intercept form is what we've been working with. Y equals mx plus b. Know it. Love it. We need to know this for many, many years to come. Standard form would be ax plus by equals c. So what do you notice about the location of the x and the y?
X is first.
Okay. So we have the x first and then the y. What do you notice, Paisley?
Oh, it's like coordinates, how X is always first.
Okay. What do we notice comparing slope-intercept form with the standard form? What do we notice about the x and the y? Caitlin?
On the slope intercept form, it equals y, and then on the other one, you need both of them to equal it.
Yeah, on the slope-intercept form, we have the y and the x on opposite sides of that equal sign. But in the standard form, they're on the same side of the equal sign. So it's, the difference is opposite sides of the equal sign. And this one is same side of the equal sign. So we need to figure out steps to convert from standard form to the slope intercept form. So step number one. What do you think our step number one is going to be? If we want to go from standard to slope intercept, what do you think our first step's going to be, Izzy?
To get the y on one side and next side.
Yeah, we want the y on one side by itself. So we need to move the x to the other side. So we're going to move x term to other side using opposite operations. So remember, if it's a positive ax, that means we're adding. So the opposite would be subtracting. You subtract from both sides, so you pull it out on the left side, and it moves over to the right. So once we've moved the x over using opposite, what are we going to do next? If we want y by itself. Colin?
You need to divide out the
Yeah, so we're going to divide out that coefficient. So we're going to divide every term by the coefficient 2y. So it's that number, this number that's in front of the y, that's the coefficient. When we add or subtract, we can only add and subtract things that have like terms. But when we multiply or divide, we do it to every term. So you're going to take that b and you are going to divide the y by the b, you're going to divide the c by the b, you're going to divide that a by the b. You divide each term by that coefficient, by that b. Okay, and we're going to see how that works. Does everybody have it all written down? All right, so I'm going to erase so we can scroll up. All right, so let's look at this first one. We're going to work through these ones together so we understand what those terms mean. So we're going to rewrite each equation in the slope intercept form. What was my step one, Sam? For which one am I going to do the opposite to? The x, because we want to end up, remember, we want it to be in this form, y equals mx plus b. So we want y by itself. So we're going to subtract out that 6x and subtract 6x. Can I subtract 6x from 21? No, because they don't have like terms. One's a constant and one has the x variable. So we can't subtract them from each other, so we just write it like this. So now I'm going to rewrite my equation. I've canceled out the 6x. So it's 3y equals 21 minus 6x. So we actually are writing this out. You're rewriting the equation. What's my next step? What's that second step, Paul?
We have to divide each side by 3.
We have to divide everything by the 3 because we want y by itself. And remember, when we divide all of them. So we're going to divide each part by 3. So 3 divided by 3 gives me y. 21 divided by 3 gives me 7. Minus 6 divided by 3 is 2. Does that look the same? Does it?
No, not yet. It's
Oh, I want my mx first. So I'm going to do y equals negative 2x plus 7 because that's a positive 7. Now it's in the slope intercept form. So y equals, my m is negative 2, x plus b, which is 7.
also because that's the Y-intercept. All right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, now once you finally walk it through and you go step by step, you go, oh, I get it. So let's look at our next one. 4x minus 5y equals 20. What's my first step, Gavin? What was my first step? I want to move the x over to the other side. So how do I move 4x to the other side? I need to subtract it, right? Because it's a positive 4x here and I want to do the opposite. So when we want to get the y by itself, we want to move it over, so we have to do opposite operation. Okay, so 4x minus 4x cancels out, so I have negative 5y. Notice how I am rewriting the equation. You should be rewriting the equation. This is not mental math, trying to envision it, how it's going to look at the end. Actually rewrite it to follow the steps. Sam?
Then you would divide it by negative 5y.
Negative 5.
Negative 5.
So you divide everything by negative 5 because we want to get y by itself. So negative 5 divided by a negative 5 leaves me with a positive y. Negative divided by a negative is positive. 20 divided by negative 5 is negative 4. Negative 4 divided by negative 5 is a positive 4/5 x. Then remember, we want to write it so it's in that slope intercept form. So positive 4/5 minus, positive 4/5 x minus 4. Is it okay that we have a fraction for the 4/5? Yeah, because that's our slope. That's our rise over run. Remember, rise over run. It's okay to have that as a fraction. Yes?
Why did you put the negative or on the other side of it?
Because that's our b.
Oh, that would be.
Because negative 4 is the y-intercept. Because remember, it's b times y. B goes at the end here. All right. Who wants to walk me through what to do with this last one? Chase.
So you have to get the negative 10x out, you subtract negative 10x from negative 36.
Hold on. Negative 10x. Is that adding or subtracting? If it's a negative, so we would add the 10x. Right? And then we want to do it to the other side. We can't do it to the negative 3 because that's a constant and that has a variable. So it's just negative 36 plus 10x. So I'm left with negative 3y equals negative 36 plus 10x. So now keep me going, Chase.
So then you need to divide by negative 3.
What do I divide by negative 3?
Because there's
No, what?
negative 3y.
What do I divide by negative 3? Everything. I divide all the terms by negative 3. So negative 3 divided by negative 3 is a positive 1, so positive y. Negative 36 divided by negative 3 is a positive 12. 10 divided by negative 3 is a negative 10/3 x. Now I'm going to shift it around. I'm going to flip the order. So it would be negative 10/3 x plus 12.
Oh.
Now, the way that Mr. Schultz did it, in my brain, it just works really well to put it on at the end. Mr. Schultz puts it before. So he would have done 10x minus 36. So he did negative 4x plus 20. I did it reverse, but it's okay. We get whichever way works for you. I switch it at the end, he switched it at the beginning. We get the same answer.
You just have to remember to flip it if you do it.
Right, you just need to make sure that you end up with it in the y-intercept form with the mx plus the b. Okay? So remember to divide all terms by the coefficient to y, not just one of them. Divide all the terms. Oftentimes the constant is forgotten. So people would divide the x and they forget to divide that constant. Rewrite the equations in slope intercept form. Then identify the slope and y-intercept of the line. So you're going to want to say m equals b equals. So if we look back up at here, what is my m? Negative 2 over 1. Okay? Because remember, it's our slope. So negative 2 over 1. What is my y-intercept? 7. So your final answer is going to be that slope intercept form And then, you know what we could do? Yes, Sam.
And then on the next page, we have to graph that.
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. So just patience. I love that we're looking ahead. So you want to make sure you know what the slope is, make sure you know what the y-intercept is. So make sure you're pointing that out. So now let's look at that next page. It's times like these when we're all reminded how cool math can be.
This was
Look.
fun. This was fun.
Oh, it is fun. This is my favorite kind of math. Look at the values for A and B in the standard form, and the slope of each line you found on the front side. Is there a pattern? Oh boy. So when you're doing all the work on the first page, then you're going to answer that question and see if you found a pattern. Now we're going to rewrite these equations in slope intercept form and then graph them. Because if we know the y-intercept and we know the slope, we can make a line. So Sam, you're right. You're going to do the same work that we just did on the front, and we're adding one final step to graph it. Yes, Maddie.
Can we just do one
I'm sorry, what?
Can we just do one together?
Yes. Yep. All right, so let's do this first one together. It's in standard form. We need to put it in y-intercept form. What's my first step, Maddie?
You want to move the x term onto the other side of the
So how do I move the x to the other side? What do I have to do?
you have to subtract 2x.
I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. So I have a positive y equals 5 minus 2x. I'm going to write it in that slope intercept form. So it's negative 2x plus 5. Oh, I don't have to divide anything this time. Remember that second step was dividing out the b, but that's a 1. So dividing everything by a 1, it all stays the same. So now I'm going to write what is my slope. Negative 2 over 1. What is my y-intercept? 5. So now this was the next step. The final step we added on is graphing it. How can I graph this? Sam?
The y-intercept is 5, so you graph what 0, 5 is.
0, 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And then you would go down to the beginning and then over to the right one.
So because it's a negative slope, I'm going to go down 1, 2 over 1. And I draw my line. Make sure you put the arrows on. It's not a segment, it's a line. So put your arrows on. Does that make more sense, Maddie?
Yeah.
So you do the same steps you did on the front side. Your added step is graphing the y-intercept and then doing the slope. Any other questions? Leah?
So on the page,
Mhm.
this section right there, I'm going to do
That is a good question. Let's look at that first one. So let's go back up to the first page. Let's look at this first one. Oops. All right, so Leah, walk me through what you did.
I did I subtracted 2x from 2x.
Okay, so we got 7y equals 7 minus 2x. And then you divide it by 7, right? So we get y equals 7 divided by 7 would be 1. So instead of leaving it 7 divided by 7, we want to simplify it. Minus 2 7x. So then we're going to flip it around. So it's negative 27x plus 1. Okay, so if you end up with the same number, 7 over 7, you're going to change it to a 1. Okay. Any other questions? And then don't forget to finish it off. You want to put what's your slope, what's your y-intercept. You have a question, Sam? Okay. All right, with that, we're going to say, we hope our friends at home are doing well, and we hope to see you soon.